everyone, and welcome to my You're Really Doing It Wrong Feat of Strength Achievement Guide. This is a follow-up to my You're Really Doing It Wrong Achievement Guide. Once again, I've used my Brewmaster monk, Aya, who I did a little bit of gear adjusting to do this one. I didn't for silver, but for this it's a little bit more complicated. I dropped my eye level, as you can see, to 652, equipping some BOEs, A's even, fine on account gear. And I also picked up an Apex's trinket because she had 2 tanking trinkets, and tanking trinkets aren't really worth using here. In addition, I flasked for agility, and I also ate some crit food, some of the good crit food, because mastery does nothing for you here. So let's jump into it. It's really not a difficult achievement if you do everything fairly precisely, so I guess in that way it is kind of hard. So you can begin by killing these rippers. This very first wave is very easy. You can basically just jump around, use the amber thing. If you want to get really tricky, you can try and save one of the amber globules for use in the next wave, but it's not necessary. It's just something that happened to me. At this point, I actually just ran out of time for the amber, I believe. And it disappeared. Oh no, it hit up there. But in theory, in practice, maybe even, you can have it hit both of those and make this wave pretty easy because these monkeys are just irritating. But otherwise, this is another really easy wave. These first couple waves, honestly, are just so simple. I didn't use any particular glyphs for this. As I said, I just changed my gear and make sure to flask for agility and keep the food if that's what you feel like you want to do. It's what I suggest doing anyway. For wave 3, you've got a healer, a monkey, and a amber shaper. The monkey, just keep doing circles around the healer. He should go down pretty quick, and then go and make short work of the monkey. I accidentally hit the wrong target with paralysis. I was meant to hit the monkey just to slow it down, but as you'll see, it's not necessary to do. I just got sick of chasing him in my earlier attempts to do this. And that amber shaper goes down really quickly, even without the amber globule. Again, you can try and save it for the next wave if you keep it late enough, but I didn't, which made it kind of difficult. Obviously it disappears. This wave I always chose to use Touch of Death on that big mystic because I just didn't want to risk it. There's no reason not to, although it does leave quite a bit of time at the end here. Nothing else spawns in this wave, so you're just left kind of hanging out. One thing I do want to mention, you can see the little chest over there. That's pretty much a miniature hero buff, or Bloodlust, or whatever faction you play. You don't want to hit that, you want to save those. There'll be another one on kind of the opposite side near where my little spirit thing is. You want to save those till the 9th and 10th waves. 8th and 10th even, sorry. This wave is really simple. You've got these 3 guards, and then 3 ghosts will spawn in the middle. If you're unfamiliar with these ghosts, what they are, they have timers above their heads. If those timers happen to reach the end, as indicated by the circle above their heads, it ends the wave, and you're unable to continue, even if your timer actually hasn't run out. So obviously they have pretty much top priority every time. They don't have a lot of life. There are 2 versions, a large and a small, and as I mentioned previously, 3 of them spawn spaced out in this particular wave. So then you can kill them, you can wait for wave 6. Wave 6 is 2 mystics and a bunch of little rabbits. You'll want to paralysis or paralyze one of the mystics and start DPSing the other, ensuring that you do actually interrupt the heal. If you do it properly, unlike I did, you can also fire up those little monkeys, rabbits even, on your way through. I did it in the middle here, it's no big deal. You've got plenty of time and you can do as I did and start DPSing them down before you move on to the next mystic. Just make sure that you don't try and tab target. As you can see, it didn't work out too great for me there, and I had to end up actually clicking on the mystic. But yeah, he needs to go down and he needs to not get his heal off. I suppose if the rabbits are lower than he is, it's not the biggest deal, because he always heals the lowest, but you don't really want to let that go off. Wave 7, you want to paralyze the Mystic again and go after this stupid little monkey. Again, don't hit that Berserker buff. You want to run around it. And a ghost will spawn. Try and hit it with the globule if you're finding that you're having problems. Otherwise, you want to try and lead that globule over to the Mystic, as I did not. But no big deal, it will go down. It just will go down a little slower. I chose opportunistically to move on to the Mogu in the middle, just because he did have the buff. Then you can kind of, I chose not to hang out in the middle, just after the ghost spawned, of course. But you want to hit that with a globule, take it out real quick, and then take the Ember Shaper out with the remaining globule. This wave was always kind of cutting it a little bit close to me, for me even, and was making me kind of nervous throughout. That's why I wanted to make optimal use of those globes. Wave 8 is 1 little big Shah and 2 Amber Shapers. Amber Shapers can't affect the Shah at all, even without their big shield buff, so you just want to take care of those really quickly. I chose to put my little teleporty thing in nice and close so I could roll out and grab one of those buffs, but as you'll see, the Shah have a little shield icon that you can see ticking down, and that reduces the damage they take by something like 90%. So you can DPS them through it a little bit, and I very much advise that you do, but you won't do as much damage. So you wait until that hits about 3 seconds, you grab your buff, you teleport back in, its shield falls off and now it's taking full damage, and you can kind of just go nuts on it right here. Do not use your Touch of Death, and do not use, I don't even remember what the skill is called now, the one that makes your spells not cost any chi. Save that, it's a cooldown. For wave 9, you again have a Mystic, you want to paralyze it, you want to go after the monkey as soon as possible, and then get back to working on the Mystic. The Mystic always made me feel very nervous because he's a large one, and he has quite a bit of health. If you recall, I used Touch of Death on the very first large Mystic we come across. This time, I DPS him down normally, but again, it was cutting it very close. 1 ghost spawns during this wave, and then you can move on to starting to DPS the Shah through his shield. Try not to use any cooldowns here, you're just going to have to try and do the best you can and DPS him as quickly and as much as possible. So the sooner you get that Mystic and the Ghost down, the better, because you really need all your cooldowns for wave 10. It's a very big DPS race, as would be expected from the DPS Proving Grounds, and because, well, at least in this guide I'm playing a tank, I don't do a crazy amount of DPS. But he died, his shield did come back up at the end there and I got a little bit nervous, but as I said, you can DPS him through it, so when it does come back up, if he doesn't have much life left, you should be okay. Wave 10 is a Ripper and the Shah, and it's not difficult in terms of mechanics, but man, do you need to put DPS out. So for this, again, I was DPSing him through his shield as much as possible. He is a large illusionary Shah, so he has a lot of life. This is the wave where you want to kind of pop everything, and as you can see, I've saved Touch of Death, I've saved my whatever the cooldown's called, I'm sorry, I really can't remember. I tried really hard to make very short work of the Ghost, it's the only one that spawns. So you can kill the Ripper, you can work on the Shah, and then you can work on the Ghost. Again, I rolled out to grab the buff as quick as possible and ported back in. This is where I popped all my cooldowns, and I was trying really hard just to DPS him as quick as possible and get him below a point where I could hit him with Touch of Death. Oh, my apologies, there is another Ghost there, but I ended up pretty much one-shotting it with Peg Smash. His shield came back up, and this is where I started to get really nervous, and this is why you absolutely need Touch of Death. If you've done everything correctly, you'll get a feat of strength, you're really doing it wrong. And congratulations! I hope this guide helped. Thank you for watching.